Well, this is one commissioner who enjoys taking on challenging issues and ran for office because I felt and feel strongly that our community has a lot of growing to do. We're going to be faced with many difficult issues. Transportation, education, economic growth and development, and I feel passionately, like you do, Commissioner Beckner, about our mission and role as elected servants who work for the public, in our case 1.2 million people, and our job, and my job, working with you, and I will work with you on this issue and work with you on many issues in the future, to improve the quality of life for all of our citizens. I feel strongly about that. But I also feel strongly that we are in the middle of one of the worst economic crises as cited by the IMF since the Second World War. We, the taxpayers, just approved a $700 billion payout to cover the cost that banks and many companies and others, some of them who offered excessive benefits but couldn't afford them, now going to Washington hat in hand, asking the taxpayers to help them avoid bankruptcy. The obligations that each taxpayer, just for the $700 billion payout, have to cover is approximately $7,000. Our total obligations, some $56 to $57 trillion. So I think that it is irresponsible when our government is facing both federal as well as state and local reductions, cutbacks. We had a meeting on Monday, I believe it was, or Tuesday actually, in which our county administrator directed staff to look at additional cuts. I don't know how we direct staff to explore ways to cut spending while we direct staff to explore ways to expand benefits. The two don't make sense. And as much as I want to resolve the uninsured healthcare crisis which we face, and you're absolutely correct, the national statistics, 45, 46, 47 million. Here in Hillsborough County, approximately 45,000 uninsured. I chair the Indigent Healthcare Task Force. We are one of a handful of counties in the nation that provide progressive health care to all citizens by taxing our citizens to the tune of $120 million to cover the uninsured. We're looking for ways. I meet with Dave Rogoff, Ramey Knuckles, talking about the indigent. In fact, on the day when I was getting flooded with emails asking for us to consider expanding benefits, and you cannot expand benefits. If you're a financial planner, you understand this. There is no way to expand something and not spend more money. Now, I recognize that there have been those that have gone to local governments, state governments, the federal government, and said that there's a way that you can expand and not spend more. But they're usually the ones that are later having to go and say, we need a bailout. The numbers don't add up. California is an excellent example of a state which talks about, they used to be the leader. They used to be the leader in providing jobs, high-paying jobs, quality of life. They lost their focus. They shifted their emphasis from infrastructure. When Pat Brown was governor of California, 20% of California's budget went to infrastructure. Today it's 2 to 3%. Why? because they picked up every other special interest and entitlement. And look, many of them are worthy. My gosh, health care coverage is very worthy. I'll give you that. But they lost their way. The focus of government is to serve citizens, provide services, not to figure out ways to tell the taxpayer, you're going to give us more benefits. If I have to go out and explain to citizens at a time when the St. Pete Times reports today some 46,000 jobs are going to be lost next year, we're looking at an additional $50 million in reductions because of ad valorem for next year. We're asking staff we're firing staff, we're cutting back benefits, and then we're going to say to the citizens at the exact same time that President Obama said yesterday, during this period of economic emergency, families are tightening their belts, and so should Washington. However long we are keepers of the public trust, we should never forget we are here as public servants. I take that to heart. And my job is to serve the public, not to go to them and say, help me provide more benefits to myself. And I don't mean that to you individually. I mean as government employees. We've heard this. I've heard reports to our county administrator that some people have said they come to county government because they want the benefits. That's not why we're here. And I feel as strongly as you do, because I want to attract businesses to come to Hillsborough County. But you know what they're going to look for? They're not going to say which government is most bloated, which government provides most benefits. Miami-Dade, yes, Miami-Dade provides the benefit. Miami-Dade's also looking for a bailout of their school system. You know, it's like we've lost our minds. We're sitting here saying, we have a crisis. We can't afford government. But yet we come up with another, and I'm not going to say this is an elaborate, but we do come up with other very sometimes well-meaning, well-considered, well-presented cases for why local government should then still spend more money on itself. And until the American people, and I think they are waking up and they realize that we are in the middle of a crisis and we can't afford this. We can't afford the benefits. We're going to have to address health care separately. And I will work with you, and I will work with President Obama, I'll work with our Congresswoman, I'll work with our City Council to figure out a way to make sure that we do cover the uninsured. And I know what you're saying is absolutely correct, but that's why we have an engine health care plan. It was to keep people out of the emergency rooms. And people that are not eligible for the indigent health care plan are paying $120 million, and now we're going to say to those exact same people, we want you to pay more for additional benefits that you yourself will not get to receive, because we want to attract the Fortune 500 to Hillsborough County. The Fortune 500 will come to Hillsborough County when they see roads, when they see a mass transit system, when they see schools. The school teachers are being asked now to cut their pay by a day, to consider it at least, because we can't pay for public education. That's my top priority. We just talked about pitting Lutz versus Progress Village. Well, we're going to have to make a lot of tough decisions, but I think that this one really is simple. We've got to make a very loud statement to the community that we get it, that we recognize that we are right now financially insolvent as a government, national government, and that we're going to cut back, and we're going to focus on our core mission. And our core mission is to provide services to the people we serve. And so, as much as I would love to expand benefits and help everyone, because that is my passion, and when I chaired the Indigent Healthcare Task Force, that's what I said I would do, we can't afford it. And so, I don't want to look, we'll be labeled backward and anti-progressive and all those other things, but that's not the case. I think right now it's just being financially sound in challenging times. And so the message that we would send, and I'll tell you, I've said before, I want my county administrator and staff to act freely, to do as they see fit. We're the policymakers. They come to us with the recommendations. We have to cast our hard votes.